evening and welcome to this edition of the Island Stat Sports Show. I'm your host, Earl Basden. Joining me is my co-host, Jason Juggling J. Ford. And we have with us Cranston Williams, who is the Bermuda Football Association head of referees. Jason, we've seen what Cranston has been doing to entice people to come on board and officiate local matches, domestic matches. And we've seen this program grow over the last few years to quite a few of our now officials, young officials, doing several international tournaments. I know we've talked to Cranston, personally on several occasions, but the drive he has from the outside looking in, what would you say about Cranston and what he's been able to do for the domestic side of football, first of all?
Well, first things first, Earl, I want to say welcome Mr. Williams to the show once again. Obviously, I know Mr. Williams before this endeavor, and to know his character, first and foremost, his character is his integrity is everything. And as a teacher, just have a little one here, but I know he taught my niece, and she always spoke highly of him when he was down in Harrington Sound. So I was always able to see him around kids and how they would just automatically be attracted to him, whatever Mr. Williams done. And that's a true leader, right? A leader is somebody that can actually get the message across and people will follow them, right? So let's fast forward a bit. Let's go back, Earl, when we did the show, when we used to do the show down at North Village. Mm-hmm. One of the first times we had him on in this capacity, right? And he was nervous about the Hill situation because he didn't really know. It was a blank canvas, really. It was a blank canvas. And at that time, he was more passionate just trying to get somebody to come out and blow the whistle because there was hardly any referees out there, right? Let alone it was Earl Young, new. They just please, somebody help us. Because if no referees, we're not going to have any games. And then when you see the progression of getting some older guys, okay, you know what? We got guys, but you know what? To go to the next level, we're too old. We're too old to get all the props and everything. So then you saw him really attack the younger, not only males but females. And now you're seeing the fruits of the labor, and it's amazing because just the other day, Cranston, me and Errol was in the car talking as we normally do, especially these long drives. And the first thing we said was like, wow, normally we're hearing Cranston banging the drum. We need referees. But now we're starting to see referees at all different levels, and it's to see other countries trying to emulate what you're doing. Once again, that just shows true leadership. So for Mr. Williams, hey, am I surprised? No. Am I surprised how quick in the last few years? Yes, I will say that. But to drive the passion and Cranston has, if we had three more people, like Cranston.
Well, Mr. Williams, first of all, welcome to the show. One of the things that and Jason mentioned it, we'll never stop really calling for more officials because the more the merrier, wouldn't you say?
Yes, I would say the more the merrier. First of all, good evening, everybody. Thank you, dear, my brethren, Juggling Jason, for your kind words and your endorsement of how this is all going. You, like I've been there from the beginning. When I first got into this, it was, playing football at Port Royal. Certain fellas, Andrew Griffith and Cal Blankendale, Corey Butterfield, said, hey, we're having a meeting at Iraq for people to go on the BFA. We need males. So your positive males show up. Did I know what I was getting into? Nope. Went to the meeting. Certain other fella supports Devonshire Coates. I didn't realize his, what you want to say, how much power he had or pull. Troy Lewis and I were there. Barclayites, here's a Barclayite. Got up, said, okay, that's it. No more nominations. These two guys, You're in. Larry Muscle, president. I'm a newbie. I don't know what this means. I'm like, all right, I'm on the BFA executive. Cool. So, the following week, Larry Muscle said, Mr. Williams, okay, what portfolio you want? I honestly said none. He says, no, I need to get, I said, I don't want any. I don't know what this entails. So I'm going to put you referees with Mr. Grimes. So I went, who? He said, yeah, referees. I said, that's not something I ever even thought about. No, I played football. Played Psalms of the Eagles, no. We need somebody to help Mr. Grimes. So on a Saturday, I used to go to the LBFA office run by the bus depot with Lyndon and Mr. Grimes. They did the schedule, and you knew you just pay attention. And then Mr. Grimes said he had to step down due to his heart conditions, and Larry said, "Oh, guess what, Cranston? You're now in charge." I went, "What do you mean in charge?" He said, "Yeah, you're in charge." I said, "Oh, that's not my forte. I don't know anything about all of this." But luckily there was Lyndon. And then it just kind of started. And I think we had the first rap course where Dave Meek, who's now in charge of the Hill Caribbean, and Rohan Thorburn, has been there several times, came. And it was like, how do you do this? I'm going to put on a rap course. I think Anthony Francis and Renew Can went to Barbados. Anthony came back, said, "Hey, you can apply for a rap course." I was like, "What's a rap course?" I had no clue. I was completely green. But then, things happened. Tashawn, who was our first under my watch AR, the analyst, he said, "Yeah, I want to do this." So it started from there. He started the whole process, and then it just kept building and building. I remember even in 2017, there was an email came out about head referees workshop in Miami, and I was like, "Suburban, wait, who's getting this? It won't be me." They're like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be you." And I said, "Why me? I don't know anything about refereeing." No, you're good. That's why I met Brian Hole. But it's funny how things kind of work out because Victor Stewart, who had been to Jamaica come to Bermuda as one of our instructors for the rap course. He had come, I think we had our course in April or something like that. That's where I first met Kalisha Antoine. And I'd heard about Kalisha from Tashawn and Antoine, Augustus. So it worked out where I'm going to a course, don't have a clue where I'm going, but I'm just going. And Victor happened to be a roommate. I was, "All right, Victor, how we going to do this? How does it go?" He said, "One thing you don't do is be late." So I learned from there. If they say it starts at 9, I was at 8:30. So, I met Brian Hole, former head of CONCACAF referees, up there, and everybody. First day for me when they said, "Oh, if you've refereed a World Cup, stand up. You've refereed a CONCACAF Nations League, blah, blah, blah," went the way on. I couldn't move because the most I'm done is a primary school match with Henderson or Elliott. I know I'm a referee. And it was just like, okay. And I remember Brian Hole, he called Mr. Triangle. He said, "Okay, the rest of you, I know what Bermuda's doing because this gentleman right here, he posts everything on social media." And that's when I found out officially that Tashawn was going to get on the list. He said, "But guess what? He's going to have somebody on the FIFA list come December." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So, and he said, "So I challenge the rest of you to do X, Y, and Z." And, of course, people didn't like the fact that he singled me out. Then I didn't have the experience. Came back from and it was like things weren't going as fast as I liked to because as a school teacher, don't for best, like Jason said, best for everybody. And they had to also say, big thanks to Sharice Bean because Sharice was dealing with the girls. And I said, "Reese, look, I need some females. I need some girls to, help me out." And she sent out a SOS, bat signal. It was Trinae Edwards, Danny Watson, Koa, Emily, Satya, K. Who's the other one? A couple, all those girls formed the backbone. At that time, they were part of under 15 team and under 17s. But I was smart enough to say, okay, I'll give them 2 games in the morning. So they were getting extra fitness. And they didn't look like money. They were getting paid, but it worked out. And we just went from there. And from it just kept going and kept going and kept going. Now, for me, I look at a Satya. Satya went when we won the Division II championship with the winner in the semifinal, got us to the finals. Now, fast forward 2022, Satya is an AR, did a semifinal on the line, 18 years old for the under 15 tournament, which normally they don't take you that age because that was the only tournament to decide to get on the FIFA list or not. So it's been a labor of love. I'm not going to tell you it's been easy because it hasn't. Got a lot of, pulling her and a lot of choice words with people and arguments and all that. And everybody knows me. If I'm at a game and you make the mistake of saying the wrong thing to one of my officials on there, the venom is coming. It's like sending what I call a vicious email. It is coming. So I'm very protective of our young people. The older people were saying, "Well, I'm trying to push the younger ones. The older ones off the stage." It wasn't that. It's a matter of trying to raise the standard. And now to know I have 3 persons at under 14. We had 4 that we sent last year, 3 got on the list. One was because he was too young. You know, they're calling for people. We 2, like I said, went to the Dallas Cup, and they officiated with all CONCACAF officials. One of them did the final, one did the semifinal. I'm getting calls from CONCACAF like, hey, you need your people. You know, Mr. Peter Pendergrass, after, you know, big him up. He was at the Dallas Cup, and him and I having a conversation on the phone one night. Next thing I know, Mr. Pendergrass in Bermuda. You know, and he don't just go anywhere. That's one thing I think he was on the show. He told you he does not just go anywhere, but it's a validation, I guess, of the work that's going on in Bermuda. And I have to, you know, say thank you to the BFA executive, my referee committee, my instructors, even the parents believing and saying, you know, letting their children come to officiate. What I need now, however, is for the adults and everybody else to say, if you got a 10-year-old ref in an under-7 game, it's not the World Cup final. Your children ain't getting paid, let them play. They're going to make mistakes. They have to learn somewhere. Because if I give you the whistle as you go referee the game, you're telling me not doing it. And I'm that crazy person to say, well, you say one more thing, the game's over. You know what I mean? But it's very, very rewarding for me now to see how many of our young people are. Mind you, I'm losing, you know, people going away to school. Like I'm losing Emily, Koa, Danny Watson, those type of people who are the backbone of the program beginning. Even Trinae's in England, you know, but guess what? I can't get mad because the education comes first. I have to go and recruit new people.
Yeah, sure. Now, I mean, okay, so a lot of the people that are that have traveled this summer to officiate just kind of started out as local domestic officials, but someone, and we'll single out someone like Sathia, who I think has spent more time off the island this summer than she has on the island, as she has been, you know, as you said, to the Dallas Cup. She's been to other tournaments. She's been to Jamaica. Was it Jamaica for the?
Yes, she went to Jamaica.
Yeah.
CFU Next Generation Elite course.
Course, yes, yeah, and now she's in the Dominican Republic officiating as well. So, you know, the sky's the limit if you put in the work and you put in the time, regardless of you know how old you are. So, you know, we have others who have benefited from putting in that actual work, but for the average person that probably doesn't think, or just thinks that it's the footballer that gets the opportunities to represent the country internationally, that's kind of thrown out the door with what these guys have been able to accomplish, wouldn't you say?
Most definitely. And I also want to highlight another person because she made history as our first ever female assistant referee, Natasha Trott. Natasha came out of nowhere. Natasha came, you know, sent Natasha to U14s last year. Next thing I know, Natasha's doing the final. She was initially supposed to do the Division 1 final, but they had to switch her to Division 2 because I think one of the teams that made the final, one ARs from the same country, so they took her off, put on Division 2. She did that, came back, then Tasha went under 17s. Then Tasha went under 20s. Then Natasha went Women's World Cup qualifiers. And I'm sitting there looking like, wow. I told Brian Ho I couldn't find a female, but look at this. Here's Natasha just soaring and going all over the place. And they love Natasha. I could tell you, when I say they love Natasha, they love Natasha. And I expect to see her at a World Cup in the next 2 to 3 years, most definitely.
Well, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I see Jason's ready to ask you a question. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the new Bulk Store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Welcome back. Jay?
All right, I want to see if you can follow me right there. I want to see if you can follow me. So
Follow you? Okay.
let's go back a little bit with Mr. Williams, because one of the other things that Mr. Williams done in his spare time was a local promoter, right?
Mhm.
And when you're putting on events, as Mr. Williams would know, there's no perfect event, there's no perfect night, there's no perfect production. It's all about trying to adapt to the situation at the time at hand. And sometimes it's the last minute, it could be the 11th hour, whatever. It's always adaptive. So going back then, and we've been around long enough where we've seen the introduction of social media. Now, for us older guys, we was very timid getting into it. I know both of us were very timid. We barely used it in the early days of promotions unless somebody wanted us to put something or post something. We barely did that. And I gotta say, I'll raise my hand. Things have changed quite a bit. But one thing I say, Mr. Williams took the advantage, and it happened to be a perfect storm, because just culturally as people, we always ran away from cameras. If somebody put a light on, especially young people, they all ran. Now, that's what kids want to do. And what Mr. Williams has done is going live many times or took pictures many times of people in the good state, or what we say, the good, bad, and the ugly state.
Mhm.
And to know that people are willing for Mr. Williams not only to do that, but also people around the world to recognize, because I don't think, and let's be honest, probably 90% of the people down in the Caribbean would never know what Mr. Williams doing without seeing a lot of these things on social media. I mean, you can go to these conferences and say, hey, what doing this back home, what doing ABC. But as they say, pictures say a million words. And you see these pictures, you see these videos, you see them in the rain, up BFA field in the rain or whatever. You see the girl, you see everybody working hard. And I just, Mr. Williams, tell me as a teacher, or even just go through the process. Number one, why you thought that social media would help this situation, or was it just the fact that you just want to capture the moment for yourself?
Well, in my role as head of referees for the Islands, I have to send a report to CONCACAF every month. So in sending the report, I realize just sending words, it doesn't do the same thing as sending pictures. Or so I have to send it to GS David Saber, and then so I'm a guy that camera might take a million pictures. So Mr. Saber will tell you, I send 100 pictures, he chooses 10. But I'm there, and even the referees, they just get mad. Most of them, William, you take more pictures, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, guess what? If that wasn't for me, the whole world wouldn't know what you do. So I'll take 100, and then you'll go figure out the 10 that's the best. And it was ironic you saying that, because when I went to, like I said, the head of refereeing workshop, that's what Brian Hole said to me. He said he doesn't have to second guess what's going on in Bermuda. He says, why? Because he sees on social media from me. So even if my report was leaked, they knew, or they know what's going on here in Bermuda. And with that, I just kept pushing and kept pushing and kept pushing, and just made it easier for our officials to be recognized.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's talk a little bit about, of course, we have a new season coming up, and again, the challenge. Looking at the numbers you have right now, what would you say?
I'm gonna cut you off. I'm not gonna let you finish. To all of Bermuda, we will not have enough match officials. We're losing several people going away to school, We are also losing people transition to different careers. So in terms of center referees, we don't have enough. And it's unfortunate. I know everybody thinks I am the big bad wolf that determines if a game gets played, doesn't get played. Everybody says that I shut down the season that time. What happened out Devonshire Rock with Stefan Duval or whatever, but I don't. I was at my game on that Sunday ready to go. However, I set up in the Congress meetings. I don't know how many times Mr. Basie have been there. I've asked clubs, send me somebody to get trained. Send me somebody to get trained. But for whatever reason, the island is no, I'm not doing it. I can get gentlemen to do children's league. Some of my senior men's team players, adults. Sure, you tell them to do a first or a premium. Nope, that's not for me. I'm not doing that. You're crazy. No, I'm not doing that. So now we're trying to figure out how do we change that narrative. How? I honestly don't know.
So Mr. Williams, let's talk about the elephant in the room then, because it's a reason, like you said, there's a big reason why everybody's so quick to say, no, we know what it is. And that's the narrative that has to change.
It's the abuse. Yes, I agree. The abuse is one of it, not to highlight anybody in particular, but, we go to certain games and you start from the beginning of the game and the game, you are a certain voice. And it's profanity towards the referees from start to finish. When the game's done, same individual, is a female, will come and say to the referees, hey, you know what? That was just me. I didn't mean nothing, and everything's fine. For me, no. I'm the one who will say, security, whoever, this needs to go. Like I said, I've been at games, under 7 games, where I have my boys from West End officiating the game, and they play for a certain team that won cup match. But you have parents from that same team chastising because they made a call that the parents out to them, and the other, I'm like, hey, hold on a second. This is not the World Cup. Out there doing their job. And I think this is where we, as a community, have to realize referees, anywhere you look at it, worldwide, referees are clicking left, right, and center. And how do we address that? How do we really address this? For me, I've been tasked by the BFA to do certain things, and I'm one of those guys where, I'm raised, my father disciplinarian, and he didn't ease me up, neither my mother. So it's a matter of, for me, like, if we're really serious about this, then people have to give the consequences that come. If you say the wrong thing to referee and you got to be escorted from the grounds, then so be it. And we've seen games where players are talking to each other using that strange language. And yes, I have to some of my referees do not, want to use their card, send somebody, because of course they're not talking to the referee, but at the same time, we're saying we want to change the game or improve and get people to come and officiate, then certain things have to change. Mm-hmm. And 2022 for me, September, this year to change it. If we're really serious about this. Because I assure you, we do not have enough. And I'm tired of saying to clubs and the like, you don't ask your players to say, do a 12:30 game, and then afterwards hang around and do a 3:00 match. So when I'm asking an AR or a referee to be a referee on 12:30 and turn around with AR for a 3:00 game, you had a slow turnaround, maybe 20, 30 minutes, if that. No food, whatever, probably a drink of water, Gatorade, and then go do a game after that. Yeah, fatigue kicks in. So you might not be in the right position at the right time. You don't make the right call. Oh, referee, act what you're doing. But you don't ask your players to do the same thing. And the human side have to keep stressing. That's what you have to think about. Last year, we had to use 13, 14, 15-year-olds to do premiership games. Now, we all know, Jason, you and I, 15, we weren't with anybody's premiership match. The K.O. Lavrock, Saul Smith, Jonah Trott, Sebastian Medeiros. These are 14, 15-year-old boys stepping up to help us out as adults, but they're getting chastised because they're making a call that the fans don't like. Hey, ref, what's wrong? Do you need glasses? That should not be happening. They're out there doing something that you, as adult, don't want to do. I've had one of my FIFA ARs tell a fan, oh, you can do better than me? Here, come take the flag. And this is where Bermuda doesn't understand. It's easy to say, yes, that got thick skin. It's the job no, that's not the job they signed up for. It is really not. And we need to change that. Otherwise, we're not going to have enough referees.
What is on the books to reprimand not just fans, but also teams? because
there's
there's a lot of abuse coming from the sidelines too, right? And
well, the unfortunate thing, and I will be the first to say this, a lot of times, because a lot of my ARs are young, they don't want to send the report. The key for this is reports. And if you're 14, 15, 16, guys or whatever, you don't want to do it. They're timid. So it's a matter of someone like me, the match commissioner, will put something in and say, oh, I don't care. This is what's going to happen. But if the reports don't come from the referees and the ARs, is not much the BFA can do.
So let's say a report goes through, right? What would be the harshest punishment for something of that on
well, that is something that the disciplinary committee decides. I don't get it. That's something outside.
Because I'm wondering, the deterrent is not good enough. This is what I'm saying.
It is good enough. But what I'm trying to say is that the disciplinary committee, they're the ones that deal with that. So that's how that goes. And I know the president has in his what's coming up, president's retreat. This is something that's on the table to discuss how we're going to address this because it's been going on for too long.
Now, another question, Justin, we talking about the disciplinary committee, and Earl, I could be wrong, but I know a lot of times, say an incident happens on a Sunday, that disciplinary committee doesn't really meet until sometimes like the Thursday, right, on the issue.
Right.
It all depends on how severe the issue is. So they do get together. If it's very severe, they'll convene a meeting, or the BFA will task them to convene a meeting to address it as quickly as possible.
Right. Once all the reports are in, because that's the other problem.
That's what I just said. The reports. You need to have the reports, and that's something else. Love my referee, but a lot of them don't want to submit it. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal.
So this same referee, and I'm playing devil's advocate. This same referee, if this same referee is looking to go higher or achieve outside his island, they're going to be obligated to these reports.
No, okay. Let me take it back. Bermuda's a small country. We know everybody knows everybody. So I'm on the field of view, Jason, and you see me say, look, Chris, what you doing? You put a couple of choice words in. You and I, boys, and the game's over. You and I go somewhere, sit off, we're cool. So 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to want to submit the report on you against you. And we're familiar with each other. That's part of the problem we have on the island. Now, when the foreign officials come, who are obliged to adhere to XYZ, they're not hearing it. But you also have a situation of where there are certain match officials on the island who've been away and, FIFA or whatever, they don't ease you up. And then they get chastised because others don't. So now the issue comes for September, we've got to make sure everybody's singing from the same hymn.
And I'm glad you said that because, Earl, we know that in both sports, our national sports, that inconsistency, what you just spoke of, is part of some of the problem, right?
I agree.
Because some players... And we know that even referees or umpires, like some referees, you can get away with a lot of language, and it runs right off the shoulder. And the next one, they'll give you that.
It's not happening.
They'll find enough cards to give you, right?
That's it. Because I can tell you, I remember in December, Daniel Parchment, Nicholas Anderson down at North Village.
Yeah.
They go to North Village playing Dandy Town, and I will never, ever forget it. And I remember Parchment came, he did whatever, Nicholas, and there's a certain red and white team on the side there. And I remember both the match official and the AR said, hey, this is what you got to do to the goalkeeper, XYZ. Cool. Because he had on a black undergarment, whatever. Game started. Young goalkeeper let his whatever fall down the undergarment. Parch went up to him. We call him Parchy. Parch went, yeah, what? My youth, a time yeah, yes. What? 2 minutes into the game.
I mean,
Juggler, up on the table clash. You could have heard anything. You could have heard a pin drop in North Village. Nobody said a word. People thought it was Tashawn. Then somebody said, no, that's not Tashawn. They went, oh, that's the foreign ref. I heard the red and white coach call out to the goalkeeper, hey, you see what's going on, right? Make sure you have your stuff pulled up. All right. 3 minutes later, Nicholas is on the far side, the bench side. One of the coaches said to Nicholas, hey, ref, what? Your boy don't want to call for us? All Nicholas said was, hey, my friend, you're coach, I'm the referee. If I call that guy out there, you're leaving and getting off the bench. The same coach sat down, did not speak for the rest of the game. And all I said was, wow. So we do know how to behave.
Yes.
Because if it was an Anthony Francis, a Martin Wyatt, a Sean Simons in the middle, Oh, the coaches the player. Da, 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 da. We went up to up Somerset. Same team playing Somerset. One of the players on the bench sitting there because he felt Parcher to make a call. Hey, ref, what you doing? Daniel Parchment, FIFA Tier 1 referee. Referee Mexico, USA, Canada. Stopped the game, blew the whistle. Walked over to him. Hey, you. Sit down. Sit on the bench and don't move. The guy sat down on a cooler. He said, no, that's not the bench. Move. And this player always has a lot of mouth. I watch him like a little dog with his tail between his legs, go sit on the bench and did it. And I'm like, oh, so you all do know how to behave. And that's the unfortunate thing in Bermuda, what this familiarity piece where, oh, wow, I know Williams, I could say this, he's my boy. And, also we have an issue where a lot of the younger referees are refereeing their peers. So kind of like even under 13 and 15 games, I would have to say I saw Shaquille, Jenna, Shavon refereeing games. They give Jason a red card, but then I'm going to be saying to myself, what's happening? They go to school on Monday because you gave me a red, so I'm going to carry on at school towards you. So I'm going to call the principal, listen, just letting this happen, which should not be. It's a game.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Williams, I do want to thank you very much for your time. I know you have another engagement that you need to get to.
Yes, I do.
But thank you very much. And we look forward to the start of the Bermuda Football Association's season 2022-2023 season, which will kick off in September with the Charity Shield and then the Dudley Eve. And again, as you've already indicated, you don't have enough.
So yes, before you close, I want to send a plug out to all the clubs and all the what I want to call them, the fan referees who seem to know the laws better than the officials. We are having a local course coming up. You can contact the BFA office. Then we're gonna have a rap course. We have courses all the time. Go on the BFA website, sign up. My number is 337-8693. Feel free to call me any day, anytime. I don't care. You want to referee? We will make sure you get in. We have uniforms. We'll get you travel the world for free. Please come on board, especially females, because it seems like for the women's league, there's girls know the rules. I said, well, I must have a team of World Cup officials by next year. So please sign up. Please, I'm begging you. And thank you.
All right. Well, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be joined by Chaka De Silva and Andrew Francis talking about the Moongate Golf Tour. We'll be right back.
Good night.
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends, and that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Well, we are joined at this time by Chuck De Silva and Chuck Francis, the brainchild behind the Moongate Tour that we've seen grow since you guys kicked it off earlier this year. But Chuck, let me first start with you. Talk about how this particular tournament came about.
Absolutely, good question, Earl. Thank you very much for having us on. How the Moongate Tour came about. I'm a competitive golfer, and unlike most sports on the island, there's a huge there's a lot of events available to you, right? With golf, we honestly didn't have very many events available to us. And so I was looking for an avenue to create more competitive golf, to get best golfers on the golf course, and to play against the best golfers. Unfortunately, because I'm a professional, I don't get the opportunity to play in a lot of the BGA events, a lot of the amateur events. And with the USGA making a slight rules change in the last year, we saw an option. We saw an avenue to get professionals and amateurs out on the golf course competing against each other.
Sure. And Andrew, for your part, what was your initial thoughts? I mean, I know you and Chaka sat down and brainstormed on how this can all kind of materialize, but what was your initial thoughts? Something's wrong with your audio. You probably have to turn your it's on. Turn your volume up on your computer. No.
I'm back now.
Okay, you might have to go out and come back in and just pick your audio on your computer. But yeah, Chaka, now that this tournament has kind of evolved and kicked off, what has been kind of the talk around the amateur professionals, rubbing shoulders week in and week out, because as you have already indicated, a lot of the professionals couldn't play the BGA events that were on offer at least twice a month.
Absolutely. So we play once a month, to clarify that. So we don't play week in and week out. But I mean, it's been, all in all, it's been an absolutely positive and great response. I've had lots of amateurs come to me, look, when's our next event? When's the next event? And as well as the professionals. So I'm very pleased with the response so far.
Jay, you want to jump in?
Yeah, Chaka. Hey, welcome to the show, Chaka, once again.
Thanks, Dave.
Talk about what's the importance of having a good sponsor, because not just having a regular event per se. Sometimes guys get a little bored of just going up, but having that carrot, that incentive, that everybody's trying to get. Let's talk a little bit about the corporate sponsor to help you guys out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, again, I'll go back to that rules change that the USGA implemented a year ago. It states that an amateur can receive up to $1,000 in what is called a medal event. So it doesn't include handicap or a captain's choice, thing like that. It has to be a medal event. Everyone's playing every shot and everyone's on the same grounds. So we play one of those every month. So it's not like the corporate sponsors. I needed a corporate sponsor to add in their dollars and add in their money, right? But it's been great having the Bermuda Championship and Life and Annuity to come on board to help us with the infrastructure, stuff that we need, like a tent, to get like a computer to do our scoring, to get refreshments. Dunkley's has come on board as a partner and is providing us with refreshments. All of those things that add value to our event. and to make it legitimate and to make it valuable to our players and our competitors.
Sure, I'm gonna jump back to Andrew. Initially, I asked you about this coming about. So for you, what was that initial thought process?
My initial thought was that we'll bring out the best golfers in Bermuda and also improve the actual level of golf and competitive golf specifically in Bermuda, which I think for the most part, with the scores we've seen, we've gotten pretty close. If not, we've accomplished our goal so far.
Yeah. Now, clearly, you two guys put your heads together, but trying to convince the other golfers to take part, how difficult of a task was that?
In my opinion, it hasn't been that hard to convince them. It's more logistics. We've had our season extend over the summer, and a lot of people travel during the summer. So we've struggled to get 36, which is a full field for us. But we get about 80%, 90% turnout every time. So the convincing them to play is not the hard part, but just getting the alignment with everyone's scheduling has been one of the most challenging things as far as participation goes.
And Chocolate, you guys have had so many events so far already. The response I'm talking about from the golfers themselves. Andrew's already indicated the amount of guys that come out, but the response that you get from the guys who actually sign up, what has that been like for you guys as organizers and also competitors?
Yeah, I'll hopping back to what Andrew just said. I mean, it's been a great response. We had lots of golfers come up, golfers that I didn't initially think will be supporting and want to play on our tour, and have come out and played in every event. There are guys out there that I thought would, that we haven't yet gotten, but this has been a proof of concept year for us. This is our first year, so we're still building it. We're still making it better. We're still coming up with ideas. But yeah, everything so far has been nothing but positivity.
Sure. Good.
What have you guys learned, with being a new tour, right? What have you guys learned about being around those PGA tournaments, and just for the infrastructure? What have you taken from their infrastructure and tried to implement it into your tour?
Yeah, so when we first did it, and I'll let Andrew talk to you about it as well, but our idea and our goal was to make this our events every month to be as close to the qualifier or as close to a PGA quality event, and we're getting better again. So our main sponsor, which is the Bermuda Championship, Butterfield Bermuda Championship, I should say, is helped us out with some of that infrastructure. They provided us with a tent, some covering. So when we do scoring, when we do our starting, we have stuff to gets underneath this tent, and it's been, like I said, we're doing great. Andrew, you want to say anything to that?
I personally, I do a lot of tournaments in my day job, working at Port Royal, but with the tour, I believe that having a strong team is something that I've learned is very crucial. We have some of the what I would call the most influential heads in golf, and as a part of our committee, and I'm proud of each and every last one of them. They have their strengths, and we allow people to use their strengths. We have the likes of Jared Dillis, who is like our PR guy, and his press releases have definitely been beneficial to the tour and getting the word out about us, and what we have upcoming. We have Javon Roberts, who's a great networker. OJ Pitcher, another one who's very influential in the golf industry. And Will Hadrau, who's actually won one event with under par score. And he's about to leave to represent Bermuda at the end of the month. He's actually flying out after round 7 later that evening. So my learning experience has been surrounded by, making sure we have the right people in the right places and allowing people to use their strengths. Not everybody's good at everything, and letting people do what they do best has been very good for the tour. And I think it's definitely helped our team to grow and become more harmonious.
Sure. Well, we're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have more with Andrew Truck Francis and Chaka De Silva. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
I'm also thankful and grateful because my greatest value of my life is my legacy.
But why I do it? I feel supposed to do it. I was put here to be here, to do what I'm doing right now. Once I see somebody moving, it's the greatest joy for me. There's a little person being born.
I am thankful that people have given me the trust, for me to empower them, from my players to my family to friends. And that's what I'm thankful for. I'm thankful that people have allowed me and trusted me to be in their life.
Putting down the weapons.
You seeing this?
Welcome back. Andrew, we had a chat as the first event got underway at Port Royal. Just take us through the emotion of that, getting that tournament underway, the first one.
The first one, was like I probably was the most anxious for. Between making sure the event actually goes off without a hitch, making sure we get people to sign up and buy into our concept, mixing the pros with the amateurs, purse size, amateurs playing for money, and it being not against the rules of golf. Traditionally, amateurs couldn't play, so that it was a bunch of points of contention. Even just the tournament structure, like the point scale, how many points you're gonna win, how many rounds of golf we're gonna have before the tour championship. It was just so much going on in the initial stages on the first one. I mean, like I said, I do a lot of tournaments, but I was still very anxious regarding the first Moongate Tour event, our inaugural event. That first round between being a player and actually organizing the event, it was just, like I said, it was high emotions. The focus was more on a successful event than it was playing, from my behalf anyway. But it was excitement, guys showing up. That was one of our larger fields, believe it or not. I think we got 33 that round. Mm-hmm. And we had a lot of the top golfers, the top talent in the island. So it was very, very confident, and it gave me a lot of confidence in what we're doing. And I think what kind of rode that wave from the first round right along through to the seventh round that's coming up on the 26th. So I have nothing bad to say about that first round other than it was like really an anxious period of time.
Jay, the amateur guys have dominated this event.
Dominated.
I've seen that. I've watched the scores. I'm not all of them. I see a few of them down there. I want to call my boy Kyle. I mean, Kyle, like I ain't call too many names out there, but But why are you doing, Bud? Why, seriously? No, but Earl,
Yeah,
what I will say, Earl, that it's refreshing to know that knowing these guys, and it's because we come from a small island, and sometimes we're stuck in this what we call tribalism. Is that okay? We at this golf course we do it this way. We at this golf course do it this way, and if they do it this way, we want to do something different. It's nice to see these guys. When I hear about his team and the guys on his team, they come from all different clubs around the island to make this tour successful. So it took for them to have the buy-in before they can even tell somebody else about it. And I think that's probably the more successful story out of all of this, because if everybody sees that you guys have brought in coming from all different walks, as we will see, even though you guys are brethren off the field, off the course, but what I'm saying, coming from different ideologies, different ways of coaching, different ways of how you want to do your tour. I'm pretty sure, Andrew, you do a tour, and Chucky, you do a tour. You guys may do something totally different. You know, you have a certain way of doing a tour, right? And OJ too. I know OJ does a lot of tours himself. But to come together for this one particular initiative, it's got to be something that you guys should be proud of, not just for golf, but also for the other sports around our island.
Absolutely. I
Absolutely.
appreciate you highlighting that, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. How hard was it trying to get the buy-in to say, look, guys, I know everybody's got a strong head here, but where do we draw the line in the sand? Who's the guy that draws the line in the sand? Come, tell me, let me know.
It comes down to a vote. Everything we do comes down to a vote. And I'll be honest, we had some tough conversations. Never any arguments. It's never been any tough disputes, but it's been some. I want to go left, and I want to go right, and we have to take a vote and see which way we're going. And we've left everything up to a vote. It's always majority rules. It's not one person says this is what we're doing, and the best suggestion wins. You know, it's piece by piece. That's what we're doing. We're doing it piece by piece.
Absolutely. First of all, how's my mic? Is that better, Earl?
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Yeah, absolutely. The initial stages of kind of getting the infrastructure, not the infrastructure, but the foundation of what the tour actually looked like was a very interesting process. As Andrew has alluded to, we went back and forth. We came up with 5, 6, 7 iterations of what our tour rules and how we're going to govern ourselves. And absolutely, big shout out to Jared. Big shout out to the rest of our committee. As Andrew said, it is comprised of 3 professionals and 3 AMs, so it's kind of right down the middle as far as who is involved. And yeah, it's very interesting conversation whenever there's a decision that needs to be made.
Now, clearly, it has been somewhat of a success already. What could be in the future for the next season? I know you haven't completed this season, but I know you guys have put your heads together on what you can improve on, that things have come up. Because every time there's a tournament, something new comes up that you say, okay, we need to address this and fix it for next time.
For me, it'll be more or less the cosmetics. You know, obviously we want 7 runs, full fields, so 36 players in every event. That's something we can definitely improve on. Having our rules official and starter, and any of the admin guys around us who help us actually officiate the events, like Gary Bennon. He does all our rules for us, our conditions of play. As a member of the governing body of golf, the Bermuda Golf Association. So he's always on site. He has some help from guys like Halftrot. We've used starters, Freddie Evans. So having starters, guys who actually does volunteer to come and help us and assist with us, we can definitely improve on that as well. Luckily on a 1-person starter, it would be great. Somebody who's just there every round. And, like I said, it's logistics, cosmetics, but overall, our structure, even though it's a proof of concept year, I'm really impressed with how well our structures held up with our point system, our order of merit. and overall, just there's top guys coming out to play. I don't think we can improve on talent. I think we're getting the best of the best so far. But maybe we can get the guys Chaka mentioned that haven't come out yet that we thought we might get. Maybe we can get them if the day changes. Like if we played on a Sunday afternoon or Saturday afternoon, maybe the day of the week will help us achieve a full field and get out those extra few guys that Chaka mentioned. So those are some of the points that I personally believe we can definitely improve on for the next year.
Yeah. What about, well, we've seen the announcement that the APGA Tour will be hosting an event in Bermuda later this year, and it looks like this is going to be a few years of a commitment that they've put in. But incentive, for golfers, for the guys who, like you say, may not have come out for various reasons, but what incentives could be added to make it even more attractive, Chaka?
I don't know. We're gonna get our heads together. I actually spent a good hour today sitting down with one of our committee members, talking about the next year. What is season 2 gonna look like? What opportunities are gonna be afforded to us? We're gonna be the people we have in our committees are going to be in a lot of rooms and a lot of important conversations, and hopefully we ask the right questions and come up with some really cool stuff that makes it more important for these guys to come out, right? But to answer your question that you asked Drew a little earlier ago, I think what's really gonna
The mic cut out. Some reason.
Yeah, I can't hear Chaka.
Yeah, your mic cut out, Chaka. Yeah, you may have to go out and come back in. Your mic cut out. Yeah, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Chaka.
Yeah. Okay, unmute yourself and see what happens. Try and unmute yourself. Okay, try it.
You hear me now?
Yes. Yes.
All right. Cool. I don't know where I left off, but I was saying that just to hopping back into what you asked, the question you asked Drew, it's going to be really important for us to obviously to get all those fine details for our events together and to smooth this up, get this all solidified. But getting our fields to fill out and getting a full 36 field and then scoring, seeing again, our idea is to produce the best and the most competitive rounds of golf, right? And so as I think Drew spoke to earlier, 2 of our events have been won with under par runs. If we see more and more of this, then that's, for me, is going to say, this is a success and we're going in the right direction.
Jay?
All right, guys. I know a little bit of golf, just a little bit. My grandpa played a little bit, but just thinking about it. So the U.S. Open is really known for one of the toughest courses of the season for a lot of golf, especially the way the course is set up. Are you guys really setting up a course? Are you looking for this tour to really set the course up to really challenge these golfers? Because, like I said, if this is going to be the stepping stone to build that PGA level, are we really trying to test these guys as like you said, if you guys are shooting below par, it makes me want to say, can we make it even harder for these guys? And to have it let this tour be the most challenging, per se.
Absolutely. Drew and I have sat down after a few of our events and was like, look, I think we did a great job today, but the course conditions or the course setup could have been more difficult. And we've gone back and said, you know what, we could have stretched it out. We could have tucked some more pins. Or, you know what, today was really, really hard. And it's a balancing act, right? As you know, in the U.S. Open, sometimes they get it wrong too, right? Yeah. And make it too difficult. Yeah. We want to make it fair, is what we want to make it. We want to make it fair and challenging, as well as make it feel like a real PGA Tour event. So you get out there and you got to putt and your blood pressure and your nerves and your hands are shaking, your palms are sweating, and so you get used to that. And so when you are in that, if you do get the opportunity to play on a PGA Tour event or any event for that, it's a little bit more, a little bit easier.
Right. And I will say, guys, at Ocean View, the Ocean View team, led by Brian and OJ, they actually do a good job setting up Ocean View. It's been very challenging at times, but they keep it balanced. It's not overly easy. It's not overly hard. It's right in there, and you got to play shots, And at Port Royal, I spend a lot of time doing the course setup, and I use pin locations that are very similar to the ones they used throughout the 4 days of the Butterfield Bermuda Championship. So it gets guys, more or less used to hitting these shots to the Sunday pins or, those challenging first round pins that we sometimes see. And we try to do our best to keep everybody on their toes. We stretch out the course as much as we can. We got real creative on number 6 at Port Royal. I don't know if you guys have played it lately, but we push them across pumping over it, and it stretches out the hill. It adds about 50 yards to number 6. We do it on number 4. We push them across the road, adds another 50 yards, maybe 40. But we do our best to make it challenging. We want to emulate the feeling and the atmosphere of the championship when it's here. And we just try our best to not make it the same every time, but we want to give the same level of quality in every event. And I think for the most part, we've done a really good job of keeping it balanced. Our average, we stick very close to our average as far as competition and how challenging the course layout is.
Yeah. Well, let's talk just a little bit before we go about the point system. The scoring. How did you come up with the point system, and how does one protect either the lead or get into the lead?
Yeah.
You talking about our order merit?
Yes.
All right. Go ahead, Drew.
Basically, I think it was Jared's idea, more or less, or his suggestion came with, you go from top to bottom. First 12 get so 12th place will get 1 point. First place will get 12 points, and it'll go in between, and everybody else gets half a point. So if you win, you get 12 points. Second place, 11, 10, 9, so forth and so on. Anything beyond 12, even in ties, you will get half a point. And at the end of the 7th round, we'll tally up the entire year, and basically the top 18 will qualify for the Tour Championship. And the Tour Championship, we'll have a max purse, $1,000 purse for first prize. It's going to be our largest purse of the for the year. It's a 2-day event, and more or less the order of merit is its sole purpose is to get you to the Tour Championship.
Sure.
At the end of the year in September.
So you can have a champion and a tour winner, right?
Yes. So somebody will win the order of merit. They'll be like the league winner, but the Tour Championship is really the one. Like you won the Tour Championship. That's just as big as winning the order of merit for the season. They're both respectively held in high regards, but I'm trying to win the Tour Championship.
Have you locked your position here yet?
I'm locked in. I'm top 18, that's for sure. I'm top 18. I'm currently top 10 in the order of merit, but that stems a lot to do with me playing every round. And I'll take that for the first year,
Yeah.
What about you, Chuck? Are you locked in?
I'm in that top 18, absolutely. But our goal is to next season have a sponsor for the Order of Merit itself and make that a kind of a standalone event. So you're the winner for the season, and then the Tour Championship is obviously our major, and then that like you said, Drew, is our biggest purse. It's our biggest event. It's a two-day event. So that's going to be really, really important for us.
All right. Absolutely. Well, guys, I want to congratulate you on putting this together with your committee. Year one almost done, and then I look for bigger and better things for year 2 and beyond. So, keep up the good work. Keep encouraging your fellow members as well as those other golfers. There's an opportunity to play on a regular basis, one tournament a month at this level, pitting yourself, if you're an amateur, against the professionals, if you're professional, against some of the top amateurs around the island. And we've already seen the top amateurs right now are the talk of the town. So
yeah, they are. They're doing well. Before we go, I wanted to thank you, Earl, you, Jason, for bringing exposure to our game and our events. We really appreciate it. Without you guys keeping the general public informed about our events, we wouldn't be as successful as we are. Also, I know Andrew did mention a bunch of names on our committee. Thank you very much to Drew. Drew's a huge help for me as my co-founder, my right-hand man, in helping me make this thing successful. And then the rest of our committee, I think Drew already mentioned them, but I'll go right through them. It's Jared Dillis, it's Will Hadrell, Javon Roberts, it's OJ Pitcher, and then us, me, and Andrew.
All right. Well, guys, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you too, Chuck.
Thank you.
Back next week with another edition of the Island Stats Sports Show. Have a good night.